Manchester United with a 3-0 victory over Luton Town. Craig, Stevie and Mark with us. I'm laughing because I asked Craig what he wanted to talk about this game. He said the final whistle. Mark, any takeaways? We don't have to talk about this if we don't want to.
Any takeaways? Well, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer made a lot of changes, and he was moaning the other day about not having enough fitness in his players. They weren't ready for the start of the season, and he basically rested them all. So the perfect chance to play his players and get them fit for the weekend game against Brighton, he passed up. But what did he take away from the game? Well, I think it just proved what we already know, that Igalo isn't good enough for Man United. They should have replaced him this summer. They've got a lack of depth throughout the squad. Eric Bailly maybe is a better option than Victor Lindelof at centre-half. Dean Henderson looks okay with one save he made late on, but really the game didn't tell us much beyond the fact that what we already know, that Man United still need players and they haven't had any in apart from Donny van der Beek.
Well, let's discuss those comments that Solskjaer made ahead of this game that Mark alluded to. He came out and he said, we need 4 or 5 games to get up to the standard we know we're capable of. We haven't had an opportunity to get those games in, and we have to make sure in these games we get the minutes and make the players ready to start competing in the league again. Craig, what struck me from this quote is that surely everyone is in the same boat at the moment. Why is Solskjaer trying to make out as if Manchester United are hard done by here?
Yeah, I was saying to Stevie earlier, I mean, if he's want to wait 4 or 5 games, City Liverpool will be 15 points off and running at that point, or you would imagine close to it. So listen, it's his job to get them up and running. It's not been an ideal scenario for everybody. And you know, so, and they had an extra week off in terms of the season started later for them slightly, so that's a little bit of rest and recuperation or a bit of fitness training. Nobody had a bunch of pre-season friendlies that they could cram in. Maybe there was 1 or 2 for some, but you know, just don't be making excuses. And as Oggy said, if certain players are not match fit, then give them an hour in a game against Luton Town. Here's the deal, that would help for your match sharpness. But I suppose from the game, Dan, the one thing would be Bailly getting some game time, because Lindelof had a poor game at the weekend, was involved in all the goals that they lost. And that's a problem. That's another problem area for Manchester United that they need to solve.
Stevie, 4 or 5 games to get up to speed.
Well, it smacks of a little bit of he's trying to take the pressure off and, you know, try to make an excuse. But then to say what he does after that about using the Carabao Cup to get up to speed, and then he only plays one player that started at the weekend, just makes him look a bit stupid. And in my opinion, it was a stupid move not to. Listen, you're playing a team in Luton who are a league below you. They made 4 or 5 changes as well to their normal starting line. So it wouldn't have been that taxing. It certainly wouldn't have been taxing for your back 5. You could have got them on the field and got some time together and fitness. And then you've got six more that you could have played, and you can take 3 off. It makes no sense. The first part of it, I get it. He's trying to make an excuse. But to turn around and say what he did and then not act on it just makes him look a little bit foolish.
Mark,
Dan, here's the deal. And Stevie will tell you, no player, even after a full pre-season and probably 6 or 7 matches or whatever it is you play in pre-season, no player come the first Premier League match or league match of any domestic season across the globe is ready. I heard Jim Beglin on the commentary yesterday on the Wolves City game talking about he used to think it took a month before they were up to full sharpness. A month could be, 5, 6, 7 games before you really feel you're fully fit within yourself. So every team in the league is facing the same battle. The quicker you get your players in game time, competitive match time, then the quicker your players get up to full fitness. That's just a fact. Nobody goes into the first Premier League game of any season and they're not sort of breathing heavy, because the pace of proper games compared to pre-season is night and day. And listen, you only had to look at Liverpool against Leeds United. I mean, they didn't exactly come out the traps flying, did they? They were all over the parish. Could have lost the game because it's taken a bit of time. So everybody's in the same boat.
What I thought was interesting, the narrative after the defeat against Crystal Palace, Mark, was the fact that this is why Woodward needs to pull his finger out and bring in new players, as opposed to analysing the players that were actually on the pitch. And overall, the standard of Manchester United's team is so much higher than Crystal Palace, yet he seemed to get a pass for some reason, which I didn't quite get.
Yeah, that's because, Man United always make big promises during the early part of the window, and then when it comes to the end of it, they haven't delivered on those promises, and the fans get frustrated, and they look at the team thinking that they could be so much better. So I think the manager will always get a pass when Ed Woodward was in charge. I mean, Ed Woodward now I don't think he'll ever be able to turn the fans around, because it's the same story every summer. They under-deliver, they over-promise and under-deliver, and we're seeing it again. 10 days to go to the window shuts, and they've signed one player, and the big target, Jadon Sancho, is nowhere near coming along, and they haven't signed a centre-half. They're looking at a left-back. That's why the fans turn on the board, because they feel they let the manager down.
But it's not... right, here's my point. How many of those Crystal Palace starting 11 will get into the Manchester United team that started at Old Trafford at the weekend? Maybe one or two. So surely this isn't just about personnel. This is about coaching and getting the best out of these players, which Ole clearly, and I know it's only one game, but we have seen it quite a bit, haven't we, over last season as well. There doesn't just seem to be a tactical plan in place to get the best out of these Manchester United players.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Listen,
you look at Ole Gunnar Solskjaer.
He's kind of jumped on and off the roller coaster. He comes in and they're horrible, and all of a sudden they're fantastic and they pick up, and everything's great with Ole. And is history going to repeat itself? They go on this incredible run as well after the stop. And now they've started this season absolutely horrible. So I think this is more about, and we keep talking about Ole, because we're not really talking about the players. It's always, is Ole good enough? Is Ole not good enough? What's Ole going to do? How come Ole keeps getting a pass? Well, he's got himself at Man United in the right time, where the people upstairs are not quite sure what they're doing, and so he's getting a pass. Whenever there's a little bump in the road, he's got over it before, and he keeps getting a pass. Listen, Man United on paper are way better, and certainly on paper should be in the top four, and they were. But I tell you what, as far as putting performances together, we're back in the realms of we're not sure what we're going to get, but they're getting away with it.
And then you can understand, Dan, why Mourinho was so frustrated. Love him or loathe him, Marmite character, great CV, but he could see it. Let's be frank, Solskjaer's just happy to be there, right? He's won the lottery being manager in Manchester United, coming from where he was and what he achieved as a manager, right? So he was planted in there as an appeasement of the fans initially by the ownership and Ed Woodward, and it worked short term. But quite frankly, is he going to be banging his fist on the door and on the desk of Ed Woodward, demanding the finances are spread around on top quality players, going to the media and complaining about the club because they're not backing him? No, he's not. Would Ferguson sit back and take it? No. Would Klopp, would Guardiola, would the top coaches? No, they would not. But he's sitting there, he's taking it on the chin, he has a little growl now and again, bit of a soft soap. But at the end of the day, he's just happy to be in that job. But as I said all along, I don't think he's going to be in that job long term, and he's certainly not been helped by Ed Woodward, who at the moment is just running this place so shoddily from a football perspective. It's scary. They're miles behind City and Liverpool. You saw Man City in the first half yesterday. It was incredible. Okay, second half was a bit more tetchy for them. You've got to expect that. But they were incredible. And they had 6 or 7 players out injured. And we know what Liverpool can do. As for United, well, we're going to be signing Sancho, we're going to be signing this player, we're going to be signing that player. No. Absolutely diddly squat, apart from Donny van de Beek. For Manchester United, not good enough.
Yeah, Mark, just a few weeks ago, you broke the story that Manchester United were interested in Upamecano, who looks like a perfect fit for this side that needs some quality at the back. Why don't they just go out and get him?
Because United have got a reputation now, I think I've said this before, that they take forever to get a deal done. They prevaricate, they try to knock people down. Every club tries to haggle, but United goes to the nth degree and it's so slow and they just don't get deals done. Upamecano had an escape clause which would have made him available for less than £50 million last month, and they missed out on the chance to get in then. So, David Gill was in charge as chief executive Man United for 10 years between 2003 and 2013. Ed Woodward is now approaching 8 years in the job, and we're still getting the story every year that, you know, we're trying to turn this ship around. It's going to take time. We need to get a process in place, get some DNA, the United way, whatever. 8 years. He's almost been there as long as David Gill, and they're still talking about trying to find a way to do things properly. There's no director of football. It's been 2 years since that was floated. No technical director, no nothing. It's really, really hard to find how they can move forward. I don't see any real plan other than they keep talking about younger players and finding the right fit for the club. But if they're going to get one every window, it's going to take forever. And clubs like Liverpool and Man City are going to pull further and further away. And the guys are right about Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. You know, nice guy, club legend, but, you know, when I saw his pre-match interview tonight, it felt like he was the reserve team manager talking about the reserve team. He doesn't look like a sort of manager that the players will, A, want to sign for, B, want to play for, and I still don't see what his plan is, what his way of playing is. You look at Klopp and Guardiola, you know what they bring to the team, what they bring to the club. There are some big managers out there that haven't got a club yet, Allegri, Pochettino, and I just think it's so wrong for United to pass up the opportunity while they're available.
Thanks so much for watching ESPN on YouTube, and for more sports highlights and analysis, be sure to download the ESPN app, and for premium content and live streaming, subscribe to ESPN Plus.